Bye, guys. Great. Hey guys, what's up? So welcome back to a new video. It's gonna be a little bit different today. Unfortunately, it's snowing and cold. I didn't quite know it was gonna be like this morning, but I had plans to go to the pull apart. It's a local junkyard where you go and pick your own parts, just to kind of look around. I'm in the process. Well, I haven't really gotten into it yet, which I am going to get in. I'm going to explain what I'm going to be doing in this video. But to make a long story short, the 16 valve 4AGE engine is going to go into the Corolla. And unfortunately, when it was in the AE92, it was installed in a front wheel drive configuration, which means that the engine, instead of being vertically mounted in the engine bay, was horizontally mounted. So in order for me to convert it from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive, I have to use a bunch of parts. I have to find a bunch of parts that are for the rear wheel drive application. So my goal today is to go to the local junkyard. I'm pulling a page out of the mod on YouTube's playbook, and I'm gonna see if I can find some parts for cheap, because all this stuff is so expensive. Just to get the parts to convert it from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive, man, it's expensive, it's crazy. I've been piecing it together, I'm getting close, but there's a couple more things that I need. So I'm gonna try to bring you all along with me. If I can't, I will just have to show you when I get back to the garage what exactly I got, if I got anything. I'm pretty sure cameras are frowned upon at this particular junkyard, so I don't know, we're gonna try it. We're gonna see if I can take you all along with me. And if so, I'll show you some of the cars in there if we stumble upon anything pretty cool, and hopefully I can find some parts that I need. All right guys, see y'all there.
Merge onto I-264 West.
So I don't know how good the audio is going to pick up on this. It is my GoPro, but I am here in the junkyard, and I just wanted to show you one of the cars that I stumbled upon, and I am going to try to steal a couple of things out of it. It's pretty cool. Let me show you what I found. All right, here she is. This is an AE92 1991 Toyota Corolla GTS. Interior's pretty rough. Has about, I think it's 188,000 miles on the odometer. Side skirts seem to be in pretty good shape. Taillight's good shape. The wing for this thing looks decent, but the best part about this car is what is under the hood. That would be the remnants of a small port 4AGE red top that looks like it is in some pretty bad shape. All right guys, so I don't want to be out here all day because it's super cold, so I'm going to go ahead and get off here, start working on this, and I'll update you all as soon as I'm done. All right guys, so I'm pretty much done. One of my subscribers or friends on Instagram wanted the fuel rail, so I went ahead and pulled the fuel rail for him. Actually, I should probably take these too, these little spacers. Also, I did get the thermostat housing, which is going to be perfect for my rear-wheel drive setup, so super excited about that. Hopefully that's pretty cheap. Other than that, this is the remnants of it. I mean, I don't really know all too much about the engine. It looks pretty sludgy. There's also a lot of oil right there in the middle valley. And then also from up underneath the car, it's super oily up underneath the car. I don't know if you can see. There's all oil on the oil pan and all that kind of stuff. So honestly, I don't know if it's even worth it. I know I say that and it gives me shivers because these engines are so hard to come by. But if anybody's in the Louisville area and needs an engine, come pick one up. I mean, maybe you can rebuild it, maybe it's salvageable. But anyway, this is what you get at the local pull apart. I want to show you all this car. This is an FX16. Pretty cool. Don't know what's going on with this grill here. Surely that's not stock. Had something screwed in here. Wonder what that was. Anyway, seems to be a pretty solid car. Dude, these look like AE86 door handles. Too bad they're already super broken. Dang, look at this interior. Automatic, that kind of sucks, but I mean, steering wheel seems to be in good shape. Door panels are in pretty good shape. So are the side panels. They look like they're pretty good. It sucks I don't know enough about these cars. I don't know if this would be worth to take these. Maybe somebody could use them somewhere, but they won't work for my car, so trying not to spend a lot more than I need to. Oh hey, look. I think this is what the mod got me. Cool. His looks to be in much better shape though. Funny I'd run into one of these. We never have these cars in this pull apart. No real major signs of rust. Oh well, I guess here on the back there is. Tail lights are cracked but intact. Guess he had a blowout or something, maybe. Glass all looks good. I don't really know anything about these cars. I do have a buddy that sent me a DM on Instagram and he is looking for this piece right here. So hopefully I can get this out without breaking it. As for the engine, get in here, there you go. This is only the 4A. It is not a 4AGE, unfortunately. It looks like it's been picked pretty good. But a pretty cool car to just kind of stumble upon. Alright, let's see if we can get that piece of molding up top off. So real quick before the phone dies, I was able to get this piece of trim off of the top of that windshield. Also this side piece that goes over there. And then also another little corner piece that's up there. I already got it in my bag. So yeah, it's really sad to see this car just dying. I'd love to save it, you know, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so before my camera dies, we're gonna see if we can find some more cool cars here, and I'll update you if I find anything. Here's two little cool cars. Volkswagen Cabriolet. Pretty much fully stripped. And a Toyota Celica. A little bit older. What is it? 87. Very cool. Nissan 240SX. The roof completely chopped off, I guess. Either they wanted the windshield or it just got destroyed in an accident. 5-speed, pretty cool. Man, crazy to see these cars in this condition. Hey guys, welcome back. So we are back from pull apart, and I must say I did pretty well. At least I think I did. So real quick, let's just go over what I got at the pull apart junkyard today. Specifically one part that I went to get, and I was actually able to get it, which is pretty cool. And I'll explain it. It's actually going to be for the 16 valve behind me. Oh yeah, and then we'll also get into the plans for this engine. I haven't really talked much about it, other than I am going to be using that engine in this Corolla. So let's check out the parts. So here are the parts that I got. You can see over here, I was not able to pull the whole engine, but I figured I might as well take the valve cover, because the valve cover, even though it's really dirty, is in really good condition. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be getting rid of this valve cover, because I do want to play with powder coating and I do want to play with refinishing valve covers. So now I've got a spare in case I screw that one up that's on the engine. Over here are the injectors from an AE92. That was the one that had this engine in it. This right here is a fuel rail from that engine, and a subscriber and Instagram follower hit me up and wanted me to pick that for them, so that is already gone. These trim pieces are off that hatchback that I showed in the video earlier, and I had another subscriber and Instagram follower hit me up for those, so those are going to be heading out tomorrow. These two lights right here I actually had on my Corolla when I didn't have the JDM kooky bumper on there, so this fits a GTS or SR5 front bumper. The wires are cut in the back, unfortunately, because I had to make them work, but they have the connectors and stuff. So this stuff back here are water lines from an AE92. This is a water inlet from an AE92. This is from a front wheel drive configuration, so if you need this, please hit me up, let me know. Over here is a intake from the same engine, AE92 small port 4AGE. This is a perfect candidate for the chop and swap, where you basically cut off the throttle body, cut off this end, and then swap the two. So then this would work with a rear wheel drive configuration. Yeah, I think everything's there. I'm just not going to be able to use it on my build. And this is the exhaust header from the same engine too. Again, small port, 4AGE, red top, whatever you want to call it. And the creme de la creme, here we go. This is actually what I went out for. So this is a coolant inlet pipe from that same engine. This will work for rear-wheel drive setup. And the cool thing about this is this part right here. So this allows me to run a temperature sensor and hook it up to fans so that they turn on and off automatically. So this is a really cool part. I could not find this part for cheaper than like 50 bucks on eBay. I ended up getting this for $2. Yeah. With the thermostat. Thermostat's probably shot and I'll end up replacing it anyway. But I mean, come on, all of that for $2? Can't beat that. So super excited with this. This is exactly what I needed, and I'm glad I was able to source it from my local pull apart. All right, so with all of that out of the way, let's get into this engine and let's talk about what I'm going to be doing with it and what are the plans. I'm not going to give it all away, but I am going to tell you all a little bit about what I've been doing the past couple of weeks in regards to this engine and kind of the plans for this engine for this car. All right guys, so for those of you all who don't know, this is the engine that is going to be going into my AE86. It is a 16 valve 4AGE out of an AE92. People refer to this engine as the red top or the small port or high compression engine. There's all sorts of different names for it, but this is for sure out of an AE92. But with that, this engine was installed horizontally, so it wasn't set up vertically like in all the other, like what you would see in an AE86. With that came a couple of complications, specifically the rear-wheel drive components versus the front-wheel drive components. So when I first got this engine, I thought really the only thing I needed to do in order to drop this into my car was to swap out the motor mounts. Obviously, you saw in the beginning I removed one of the motor mounts that was up here, and then there was one in the back, I think, or somewhere. But in order to go vertical, you got to get motor mounts that are on the side right here and on the other side. I thought that's all you had to do, but I was sadly mistaken. There's a lot of stuff that you got to swap out in order to get this engine to work. in a rear-wheel drive configuration. Mainly, it's all of the cooling parts. So the tubes that run through here, you gotta swap out. The alternator, the way that it is set up on this car, the mount is right here and it's in the way of things. You have to get a rear-wheel drive mount in order for the alternator to work. And then also all of the components up here in the front, so the water pump, the crank pulley, the alternator pulley, all of those are a little bit offset a little bit differently for this engine in a front-wheel drive orientation as opposed to rear-wheel drive. Now again, I'm not a master when it comes to this. I'm sure there are ways you can make it work, but for me, I pretty much have found that I gotta swap out a whole lot of different parts. Anyway, the past couple of weeks, I have been focused on collecting all of the parts needed to make this engine fit my car. I really want to get this engine in the car within the next month or two. I want to have it in the car and running. So that's a pretty bold statement, especially since this car has literally taken forever to get to this point. But you know, since I fired up the 4AC in the last video, it really motivated me to get this engine in that car so I can get it ready and start driving it. And with all of that being said, my plans for it have kind of changed a little bit too. So originally what I wanted to do is I wanted to totally build this engine, take it all apart, change out all the bearings, change out all the pistons, all the rods. I wanted to have the head decked. I wanted to have everything kind of ported and polished. I wanted everything to get done. And of course, all of that adds up in price. And I felt like if I go that route, at least right now, this engine is not gonna be going into the car for quite some time. So that kind of bummed me out. Basically what my plans are now is the only thing that I'm pretty much removing are the valve covers. I wanted to inspect the cams, they're easy to look at, the seals aren't that expensive. And then pretty much everything else, I'm just gonna leave as is. Again, with that being said, come next winter, we'll pull the engine, once it's running, we'll pull the engine and then we'll do a complete build on it because I'm not gonna really be driving this car anyway in the winter. So I think that about covers it. There's a big component to this build that I've left out on purpose. I'm sure some of you all know what it is if you've been following the comment section and my Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But there is something coming for this engine that's gonna be pretty cool. And I've been talking with a couple of people and I think this is gonna be a really cool setup once it's in the car. So with that being said, let's crack open the cam covers. I've actually already done it, but I'm gonna take those off and I'm gonna show you kind of what the internals look like. And then what I want to do, the thing is bone dry right now, there's no oil in it. I put some oil in the cylinders yesterday, let them sit all night, put some oil on the cam gears, and I'm gonna remove that oil filter on that side. We might even crack it open and see what the internals look like of that filter. And then I got a new filter and some oil that I'm gonna be filling this engine up with, and then we'll try to crank the engine over by hand. So let's do a little bit more in-depth look at the engine. All right, so here she is. Let's go ahead and remove these. I have already taken these off once before, so they should pop right off. There we go. So here's how the inside looks, and really in comparison to the engine that I found at Pick Apart or Pull Apart, this is in really good shape. There's virtually no sludge buildup. I don't know if the lighting is showing it very well, but there's virtually no sludge buildup inside here. These cam gears, these little lobes look almost brand new. There's a little bit of wear on them, but I don't think that's anything crazy. Could be wrong. But everything looks pretty good here. Don't know if you can see down in there. Yeah, that's not gonna work. But I put a little bit of oil down into the cylinders. You can see a little bit down in there. So hopefully that'll coat the cylinder walls as I try to crank this thing over. All right, let's go ahead and take this oil filter off. And this looks like a genuine Toyota filter. That's kind of cool. This might actually be an engine that was imported because everything is in Japanese. There's Japanese all there on the filter. I don't know if it's like this on all of them, but like got Japanese lettering all over it. I don't see really any English at all, which is kind of cool. I don't know, maybe this is a Maybe this is an actual JDM engine out of something from Japan. That'd be kind of cool. Huh. Oh, that's in English. Huh. Interesting. All right, so let's remove this filter, and then let's cut it open and see what the inside looks like. Oh man, that's gonna be hard. Honestly don't know if that was worth it. I don't know if you can really see in there. I mean, it seems pretty clean. Those little black specks in there, I don't think it's metal. I think it might just be paint from when I tried to get this thing open. That was a nightmare. I don't suggest anybody doing that unless you really need to. Doesn't really look like metal bits, does it? Maybe? Who knows? I don't know. Is that a good sign? Bad sign? I feel like I just made a mess, and I don't really know if all that stuff was from what I was doing earlier. So, I guess gonna throw all this away. Jeez, my hair. Well, I guess the engine cranks over. I didn't feel any weird resistance. Now, guys, I want you all to keep in mind this is the first time I've ever touched and like messed with an engine outside of the car, so I don't really know what I'm looking for, but I did crank it over a couple of times. I didn't feel any weird resistance. I did feel a little bit, I guess, when the lobes of the cams get to a certain point and then it kind of cranks over itself a little bit. I guess that's normal. It seems like it's normal. The timing marks line up there and there. Everything seems good. I don't think it has skipped any teeth or anything like that. I didn't hear any weird noises, you know, any scraping or anything like that. Everything seems like it's working out pretty well, so I guess this engine's okay. Again, I was told it ran when it came out of the car, and everything looked good. Everything looked like it hadn't been opened before or anything like that. I didn't see any metal shavings coming out of the oil pan when I drained whatever little residual oil was in there. So guys, let me know what you think. I kind of want to do a compression test on it, but I don't really know how. I don't know how to do a compression test unless I hook the starter up to it, and that's still one of the parts that I'm trying to source. So if you all have any sort of ideas or comments, please leave that in the comment section below. Again, if any of you all are interested in any of the parts that I showed earlier in this video, please send me a message or leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, I forgot to show that I have an AE92 grill in the front with the Toyota badge right there in the middle. If anybody's interested in that, just let me know. So with all of this being done, the next thing that I want to do is I want to hop in to this engine bay and put this car on a diet. So I want to go ahead and start getting rid of all of the parts that I'm not going to be using, that I'm not going to need in there. Get everything prepped to pull this engine. So guys, if y'all like this video, please smash that thumbs up button. Also, I hope some of you all learned a little bit about this engine and kind of what it takes to convert this engine from a front wheel drive to rear wheel drive. As soon as I get all the parts, I will be going a lot more in depth, so anybody who is considering this sort of swap can hopefully follow that video, get this engine prepped and ready for a rear wheel drive application. If you all like this sort of content and want to see more, make sure to press that subscribe button below. Also, if you want to be notified when more videos like this come out on my channel, consider pressing that bell notification below. And of course, as always, thanks to all of you all for supporting and subscribing to this channel. Please stay tuned for more AE86 content and content on this small port red top 4AGE. And until next time, I'll see you later.